Ladies and gentlemen, my name is James Scaresbrook, otherwise known as the Intrepid Wino, and welcome to another edition of Let's Taste. I have been sent some samples for this episode, so a bit of a change up compared to the last couple of episodes which were from my cellar. In this case they're from Pernod Ricard, which if you haven't heard of them are one of, or if not the biggest wine company in Australia. They have incredible holdings, probably most famously they own Jacobs Creek, but they also have the Orlando, very historic Orlando winery in the Barossa Valley where they make St Hugo, and they have very generously sent me I'm assuming there's three, 2013 St Hugo Reds, which all a recommended retail price of $54.99. So I guess without further ado, I'm going to open them up and I'm going to share my impressions. First one is the St Hugo Barossa Shiraz 2013. Right off the bat, I'm seeing a lot of colour. It's very, very dark and very intense. I'm guessing that we're talking some pretty decent ripeness, and considering they're 2013 wines, you know, we're talking 3 years later, probably a fair amount of small barrels, probably a lot of new oak as well. Yeah, right away I'm getting that really dark, plummy, juicy blackberry jam, and then some vanilla, some coconut, some caramel edges, which would indicate, you know, very ripe, dark fruit, and, you know, a reasonable amount of new oak. There's a little bit of sort of cinnamon and cumin spices in there as well, but we're talking some pretty inky, black coloured wine, which has a really, really juicy, juby fruit aroma. Let's taste. Quite dried out tannins here. I'd say there's a fair amount of maceration involved. It's not super heavy. There's a bit of warmth on the front of the palate, but it's quite dried. You know, I would say from maceration and from the barrel aging, you know, there's a bit of an oxidative element there, but quite dried out, showing some sort of leathery notes. You know, the tannins are, for me, look a little bit tired. Very intense, but tired, not kind of really alive, not singing. Dense, you know, some sweet wood notes, but also some bitter black cherry in there as well. Like for me, this is a wine that has clearly had a fair amount of manipulation in there. Let's now look at the bridging wine, which is the Cabernet Shiraz, also Barossa, also 2013. Similar density, fairly similar colour as well. You know, quite dark, almost black, purpley colours. For me, the Cabernet is lifting their aromas a little bit more than it did with the Shiraz, which is quite interesting. That's not common. It's looking at slightly more kind of floral, candied fruits. The oak isn't as pronounced here. It's more of a more elegant, less kind of sweet-smelling oak character. This, for me, smells a little bit more like classic Shiraz, particularly Australian Shiraz, than the Shiraz did, which is very, very unusual. Let's taste. Slightly more focused on the palate here. It's not as broad. There's a little bit more kind of life to this wine, sort of slight crunchier fruit, very focused. Really, there's a little bit more elegance to this wine, a little bit more length to it as well. I think in this case the Shiraz is filling the middle palate quite nicely. The tannins still feel a little bit drying, but they have a little bit more life to them than the Shiraz did. I think this is a really interesting blend. I think this is it's well done. But again, the intervention here for me is not adding anything. If anything, it's taking something away. But you know, a little bit brighter, less Madeirized in nature. Finally, let's have a look at the Coonawarra. Oh, actually, sorry. The Coonawarra, the Cabernet Shiraz is a blend of Coonawarra, I'm assuming Coonawarra Cabernet, and Barossa Shiraz, which probably makes sense for what I was describing in the wine. The last one is a Coonawarra Cabernet. And so you're probably we're looking at the Barossa and Coonawarra. Barossa is most famous for Shiraz, Coonawarra is most famous for Cabernet in Australia. Tight, small purple berries here. Nice sort of a little bit of leafiness, but a very mature kind of leafy, it's a mature dried leaf note. Not as, yeah, it's probably not as lifted as the first is. This is probably the most subdued of the three wines. Let's taste. Very interesting for a Coonawarra Cabernet. I expect it to be a lot more tannic, a lot denser, a lot warmer from the alcohol, and showing a lot more new oak. In fact, it's probably the opposite. I think I might have actually gone in the wrong direction. I probably could have finished with the Barossa Shiraz, because that is sort of the heftiest. It really packs a wallop. But this Coonawarra Cabernet is quite lifted and light. The fruits are quite bright, in fact. The tannins are very soft and supple and not drying. For me, I think the Coonawarra Cabernet is probably the best of the three. I really wasn't a fan of the Barossa Shiraz. I thought the Coonawarra Cabernet and Barossa Shiraz blend was actually surprisingly good. But the Coonawarra Cabernet for me is the winner on the day. So yeah, thank you very much, Pernod Ricard, for sending me some sample bottles. I really do appreciate it, and thank you for wanting to hear what I interpret of your wines. And of course, you are more than welcome. Anyone is welcome to send me samples, and I'll obviously we'll open them up on the Intrepid Winer YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching, guys. If you did enjoy this video, please hit that like button below. And you can make a comment if you'd like. Subscribe to the Intrepid Winer channel so you'll be informed of whenever there's a new video. I've done lots of Let's Taste videos, so I'm sure there'll be many more. Come and visit me at intrepidwiner.com and you can read more about me and also subscribe to my podcast, The Vincast. But until next time, cheers.